Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime and Fuego here for my namesake program, Enfuegotainment, but a very special and different sort of thing that we're doing today because obviously during the holidays there is imbibing that is associated with entertainment and entertaining yourselves and everything. So I have none other than Lady Catherine, my smooch here, and we are doing a bit of a tasting because of the fact that we have kind of become seltzer, I guess, aficionados, snobs, depending on depending on the term. Trying to stay away from the gluten in the beer and those damn IPAs that are just oh so delicious.
So delicious. Oh,
goddamn, do they pack on the pounds, and so especially in a quarantine pandemic sort of situation with just less of an opportunity to get out and be active for a lot of people, we knew that there were some changes to be made. I have been leaning more so towards the evil phenom that is the Bud Light. We actually just shared this Bud Light Mango Seltzer before we went on just to grease the gears a little bit. You're more so into the claws, right?
Oh,
them White Claws, no loss with
I
claws.
can't even drink the Bud Light Seltzers without a claw or two to grease the wheels of greasing the wheels. Yeah, it's not gonna happen for me.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, this is gonna be an interesting endeavor here. With these
and the reason
seltzer.
We have a special variety of seltzer. Now, just to let you know though, this girl does like in occasion the Truly lemonades. I mean, we've tried pretty much every competing sort of thing. Truly's come pretty damn close to the claws, but the claws definitely seem to be at the top tier of quality for most people. We've gone as far as the lower rung of like the natty seltzers.
I don't remember doing that.
You have.
I don't think that actually happened.
Yeah, well, you just probably don't remember.
If I don't remember it didn't happen.
That's something to contend with. But the reason for the holidayness is the fact that we have this ugly sweater pack. Let's just get that in the view so this cannot be monetized or used for any sort of ads or anything since there's the consumption of alcohol related. But Bud Light has a seasonal pack that they are doing currently, and it has cranberry, which I've had before because I think that was in one of their other variety packs or whatever of their seltzers, but there are three very specific flavors in this. We have a apple crisp, ginger snap, then we have peppermint patty, not to be confused with the character. So without further ado, let's rip this some beezy open. Since the cranberry is the one that I have tried previously, very festive packaging, as y'all can see right there, which is great. You've got like little snowflakes and all that festiveness. We're gonna do the cranberry last because of the fact that that's the only one that I've tried before. I'm really most curious about this peppermint patty. So without further ado, let's crack these babies open and just give them a quick little taste.
He's out because this is clearly...
Oh. Okay, from the scent, can you smell the peppermint? Very apparent in my estimation.
I was hoping it wouldn't be as strong as like a schnapps, pepperminty.
Do you not like peppermint schnapps?
No.
Snuggler is
is that where you put it in cocoa, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I do like that.
Rumplemints with cocoa is really good, but let's see what this is all about. Salute. What do you think? I'm curious about your thoughts.
Good job, food scientist. It's very subtle.
I actually think this is very refreshing and tasty.
Yeah, this is great. This actually tastes way better than that thing you had me drink earlier.
The mango flavor.
Yeah.
Mango.
Yeah.
Mango, I love you. Yeah, this is good. I'm gonna have another sip of it, and then we will set it to the side and jump over to the next variety.
Yeah, it kind of floats there for a second, and then it dissipates, and you really can't taste much else. It just kind of trails off, and not what I expected based off of how the other seltzers, the way that they kind of sit on the palate for a while. Flavors linger. This is more effervescent, which I guess for peppermint is to be expected.
And I'm not somebody who's really into like, you know, those like hard peppermint candies that, you know, people like around the holidays. Not so much my deal. Candy canes, obviously. Now that I think about it, peppermint patty, if it's specifically a peppermint patty,
then that's why I tasted those hints of cocoa in there.
I totally tasted the hints of chocolate.
That's kind of like later on. That comes afterwards.
It creeps in the back half of it. 100 calories, so it's if you're consuming a bunch of food that you know is gonna add to your butt or your waistline or whatever, this is probably a nice way to balance it out, I would say. So
I liked it.
I'm gonna take another sip. Yeah. The next installment, Ginger Snap. The previous one, I mean, I don't know if it was like, you know, when you bite into a York peppermint patty, it's like taking a rip.
Being on the top of the Alps.
Those damn commercials, man, I will never forget them from a kid.
You go.
Yeah. Ginger Snaps as a kid, I mean, It's a great horror movie, but that's on a totally different
I
wavelength.
love that movie.
Werewolves, yo. Ginger snap cookies were less my thing. I don't know, what about you? That's what I'm assuming they're using this as a basis for.
I love ginger. Any of those a little bit more exotic spices, like...
Fresh ginger with sushi?
I was eating raw ginger today, so I am a ginger aficionado, to be sure.
It's a very molassesy kind of cookie, if I remember right.
Yes, it is, and as a matter of fact,
I don't like molasses
typically
very
the
much.
recipes do call for molasses to darken the cookie. If you don't use it, the cookie's going to be more of a vanilla-y colored.
It gives it that amber sort of appearance.
Yeah, and it gives it more richness and depth, which a lot of the recipes say the ginger works synergistically with the molasses. But
bottom line, ginger snap, I'm assuming it is taking inspiration from the cookie. I was wondering if on each individual can there was going to be like maybe a brief description about the inspiration for the recipe or what they were going for.
I don't think Bud Light does that.
Certain alcohols do that.
No, Bud Light is catering to a very specific
Bud Light,
demographic.
though, is supposed to be a little more sophisticated now since they were bought a number of years ago.
I had no idea.
I mean, they still have their main brewing stuff in St. Louis, if I remember correctly, St. Louis, Missouri. But yeah, they were bought a number of years ago.
How do you know this?
I worked in food service for a long time, and I worked with liquor reps and stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
It was a big thing. And another funny thing about just Budweiser in general, not Bud Light specifically, or these seltzers, is that my middle brother, when, yes, I'll take a little...
You have to waft.
I don't feel like this is as aromatic as the previous one.
Peppermint is a very volatile chemical.
Okay, if I would like really like put my schnoz in there.
Even synthetic peppermint, I'm assuming it has like a throw. The smell has like a radius to it, you know?
But the point I was going to make though is that just Budweiser overseas specifically, not their seltzers or whatever, but actual like Budweiser, that original American, I think it's a lager, Pilsner, that I'm not as into beer as I used to be. It was like all the rage when he went and visited the UK. Bottom line, we have gone on too long. Let's take a sip of this. Salud, my dear, and see what we think.
Ooh.
Okay, you really taste that cookie flavor, man. You taste that molasses, as I was kind of wondering. It's almost less ginger forward and more molassesy forward. It's almost like a pumpkin porter, at least as far as like the hints of flavor, not the consistency. Lots of ginger in pumpkin pie, right?
Right, that's true. It's a lot less strong than I was expecting. A lot of the seltzers just, they do this 1-2 punch with the flavor, especially the lemonades that we were talking about earlier, the Truly lemonades.
Those are really acidic
super
too.
Sour, very acidic. Like, being that we had the mango version of the Bud Light seltzer earlier, and it was so strong, I figured these would be way on the stronger side, but it seems that the food scientist did a number on the analysis of all the various chemicals, and they found a way to... That sounds really unappetizing. Just trust me, it tastes great, okay?
Watching Happiest Season the other day, and where Eugene Levy's kid, Dan Levy, is talking about how many different yellow dyes do we need to have in these chips? Like, these food scientists are going nuts.
That is a very unexplored part of science. I have to tell you, those guys, they make the bank. And there's a reason for that.
What are they doing to our innards?
They come up like with stuff like this.
This is one I wasn't expecting to like, and yet I think it's pretty tasty.
It's like they hydrolyzed a ginger snap and took all the best parts of it and put them into this drink.
Yeah. So once again, 2 carbies and a single gram of sugar, 100 calories, compared to an IPA or a nice porter or something, which I would love to be drinking at this time of year, but when you're trying to implement some temperance, this is a nice alternative, I gotta say.
Post-Thanksgiving beverage.
Perfect. Yeah, very much so. I'm gonna take another sip and put it away. Now we move on to the final of the original flavors here. Apple crisp, it's kind of apple pie sort of situation.
Yeah, it's like a cobbler, but it has that cinnamony, crumbly, buttery topping, and then that bakes on top of the apples.
Similar to like an apple strudel kind of thing?
Well, with a little bit less carbs, I would think, than an apple strudel, because I think strudel is more,
I think it's like
more pastry-centric.
Yeah, it's like a thinner layer of that. The crisp aspect is very synonymous and important, but 5% alcohol with these, by the way, so it's not like... There's certain seltzers out there that have like, like 3-4%. Like they're not really gonna... Like the Bon Vivs, right? They're not gonna do very much to you, unfortunately. Like 5%, this is just like having like a standard kind of beer in a lot of cases. And I mean, not an extreme higher ABV or anything of that nature, but yeah, so for the final of this tasting, as far as the unique ones that I have tried before, apple crisp flavored with other natural flavors. Whatever that means. Well,
Try not to think too much
Cheers.
about it.
No.
It might ruin your night.
Don't think, just drink. Well,
Oh, yes.
fortunately, when the drinking happens, the thinking is diminished. Anyway.
Oh, that's why we
let's
do it,
this.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
We think too much.
Yeah. Don't overanalyze.
Oh, it tastes like a cider.
It does, and that's kind of what I was anticipating.
It doesn't
in,
take like a,
in a
tastes
lot of
like
ways.
a crisp.
No.
The other drinks had some elements of the flavors you would expect
I was thinking
from a cookie or a pastry, like which was in
Yeah.
the name. This is named after a pastry, but it doesn't taste like it whatsoever. It's
But-
like a mulled apple cider.
True. Yeah, if I was gonna
Which I
compare
like.
this, I was expecting
It's
like.
just that it's cold, which is weird.
Well, I think apple crisp is kind of heavy on the cinnamon, if I'm not mistaken. I don't taste any cinnamon in this. It's pretty devoid in that regard.
Yeah, it might be in there, but they've melded it with a bunch of other things.
All I'm tasting is apple. It tastes
Well-
like this. This is my least favorite so far.
Oh, I
must
like
say.
it.
Well, I mean, it's not bad, but it's the least unique.
It's
I
not
guess
very
I would say.
nuanced. It tastes like a cold apple cider, which I'm
If
not
I-
sure why you would want to drink cold apple cider when you're used to the hot version. It's
I like cold apple cider.
It doesn't taste bad.
There is a difference between apple cider and apple juice. I think it's the consistency and just how like heavy in comparison.
You know,
like,
I think what they do with the cider, there's a
Or-
filtration process that removes some of the impurities, and you get less of like the varieties of different tastes. With the juice, I think a certain amount of impurities have to be removed, but don't quote me on that.
I love hard ciders. I just don't drink them as a gluten-free, like lower calorie alternative because of the fact that they have so much sugar in them. It's like insane. Apple juice is like the absolute worst from what a
Is
lot
it
of
really?
like nutritionist
I mean,
friends and
yeah.
stuff told me. Is the fact that just the sugar content is off the wall.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
if the fruit starts out with a lot of sugar and you're just concentrating a bunch of it into a vat, you know, you can only expect it to get worse and worse.
On this sip just
And apples
now,
are sweet. Did you get another hit of like the more
I didn't
the
really
second layer of flavor?
almost like a crust kind of flavor.
yeah.
You know, it still isn't like a cinnamon predominance that I think I was expecting. Now, perhaps since I haven't eaten tons of apple crisp in the day, you know, maybe it's not as cinnamon centric as I was
no.
kind of assuming.
No, it
but,
is.
Yep, well, that's what
It
I thought.
is.
I'm really not tasting any cinnamon, but
It doesn't taste like generic apple at all, which is nice. Good job, food scientists.
that's at least good. No. So yeah, all opened and ready, everybody, and about to give this one a additional taste, at least in my regard. We had some technical difficulties briefly. More so than anything, Catherine's impressions of this fourth and final flavor is a little bit more important since I've had this one before. So let's see what we got going down. Probably the worst of all of these. I
That's
must say.
extremely underwhelming.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, elaborate if you want. When you go for a more nuanced flavor of like traditional dishes, especially holiday dishes and stuff like that of the dessert variety, which is what you would you know, aspire for here and what they did with the three previous, this one is a little more just kind of by the books.
Great potential as a mixer.
Well, there you go. yeah, that's a fair assessment, I think. In the sheer regard that all of those other flavors are, like, they're focusing on one particular sort of flavor character. You know, it's either a mango, or a black cherry, or a pineapple, or lemon lime, or whatever it may be. This is like a safer choice, but I feel like the boldness of those three previous, you know, attempts by their food scientists, so to speak, they definitely make for a more exciting drinking experience. Possibilities maybe for a fourth flavor, and none of them tested very well, so they're like, well, let's just throw some cranberry in there because we've had that in the previous taster and people seem to like it enough. And it's got, like, cranberries do have a holiday connotation, I guess, don't they?
I mean, what else could we have picked?
Christmas centric in
Like
that regard.
I feel like we've exhausted those options.
It's not like they're gonna do Christmas ham, seltzer, or some weird shizzle like that. Wouldn't be a thing. So three of
Would
the
make
four.
a great gag gift, though, to be sure.
True. Yeah, and there are those weird places that do just would you want to drink this sort of thing. I would honestly say the other three flavors were very solid and better than I was anticipating them to be.
It's just filler. We had to.
Great
we had
song
to
by
have
Minor
enough in the
Threat, by the
pack.
way. Yeah.
We had to have enough in the pack.
They had to
Look-
round out the pack, and I'm just really wondering if they couldn't nail down a fourth unique flavor, and so they just threw cranberry in there.
They
as-
totally did.
Almost as like a consolation
Yes.
sort of situation,
Absolutely.
because, yeah, ginger snap, Apple Crisp and Peppermint Patty were all very impressive, very distinct, and had a lot going on.
I will say this is a very popular item. We went to like 4 different stores trying to find it. He finally found it at, what was it, Walmart?
That was after going to Total Wine and going to, you know, Fry's and Safeway and like various other places and not being able to find it. I just really wanted to taste and give thoughts and stuff like that. But props to Bud Light Peeps for 3 of the 4 flavors in this.
Right.
I am quite impressed, and
I'm gonna mix Apple Crisp and Ginger Snap and make a whole new mixed drink.
actually sounds very interesting.
It's probably gonna be delicious.
I think it would work. So everybody, that is the end of our tasting of the ugly sweater pack here from Bud Light Seltzer. Yeah, we are not shills. We are just seltzer enthusiasts. Obviously, normally on this channel, I cover entertainment as far as television, books, films, stuff like that. And please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any interest in that sort of stuff, please check out the rest of my channel. We hope everybody has a fantabulous Festivus, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Krampus. Well, yeah, that's a little bit different. That's horror show, actually.
No, Krampus is... We won't go into
No, whatever you celebrate, we just hope that the end of this year here in 2020 that has been scary in a different variety is filled with love, joy, and at least a little bit of time with loved ones, whether friends, family, and in this case, I would say if you can track it down and you like the seltzers, man, this is actually pretty tasty. So I have been Jaime Enfuego.
Katie Layden, don't forget to live, laugh, love, and if you add some seltzer into your life, it's gonna make it a lot easier.
She was thinking about that ahead of time, but until the reel of cock comes around once more, hasta luego, sin amigos, constant drinkers in this case, seltzer enthusiasts, I hope that we get to share some more of this palaver sooner rather than later, and until then, obviously, stay home, stay safe as much as possible, and enjoy the rest of this crazy year as best you can. Love you. Peace.